Hey, welcome to Quest for Gear News, the gear news segment we're going to try to do sometimes a couple times a day, sometimes every other day. Depends on how much gear news is out there. Today is February 15th, 2025. What's in the news? Well, we've already covered the Fender Standard Series. So this is what they unveiled at NAMM 2025. It is, let's be honest, Fender's attempt at putting Fender on a headstock for a cheaper cost, about $8.59 Canadian, $5.99 US. There's 5 different styles. We go from the Strat HSS, Telecaster, Standard Jazz Bass, and the Precision Bass. So, I mean, what's not to love? All the 5 models, probably the 5 most popular models Fender puts out. Anyway, will they do a Jazzmaster, a Mustang, a Jaguar later? Or a Sonic maybe. That's let's see what they end up doing at this Indonesian factory. I don't think it was because of the tariffs, but with tariffs in mind, it's probably a good idea to be getting out of Indonesia. But I got to tell you, the reviews are mixed on these. I have personally watched and read many reviews, and they're not great. I've yet to see a good review. I've seen neutral reviews. I can't personally have an opinion in that I've not played one, but yeah, the reviews coming in are not great. It's Fender on a headstock for $5.99 US or around, $8.50, $8.99 depending on the day, depending on the dollar. They do have different colors. They've got maple necks. They got, what is that, could that be rosewood? Could it be rosewood? No, Indian laurel. I'm sorry. Yeah, Indian laurel. I was going to say that you're not going to get rosewood for that price these days, are you? With rosewood being controversial and somewhat short in supply. What else we got? Maple, Indian laurel. So, yeah, I have not played one. Let's be clear on that. I want to real bad. As soon as I see one, I'll be trying them out in the store. Yeah, this is the hot news right now is the Fender Standard Series. All right, what else do we got? We got some Long & McQuade, 20% off Fender. Speaking of Fender, I just want to point out I am not affiliated with Long & McQuade. In fact, no advertisers pay me. Nobody gives me anything. No one. I just seen this and figured it was good gear news that right now Long & McQuade, that's Canadians' alternative to Guitar Center or Sweetwater, 20% off Fender gear. You always like to see that. Honestly, they do this a few times a year. At least they seem to. Huge deals on guitar bases and more will be gone soon. Don't miss out. Up to 20%. The other thing that Fender does, now Long & McQuade, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have their own financing. But Fender seems to have like some inside Long McQuade special better financing. So, if you won't be much out of pocket and then you can make yearly payments. Look at these beauties. American Professional 2 Telly. Sale price $23.89. Original price $26.59. So they're pulling $300 off that. Look at all these red sales tags here on all these guitars. We've got 5 pages. Do we have more than 7 pages? How far can we go? 8 pages. 8. Oh, now we're just into necks. Nobody wants to save 20% on a neck. Yeah. Look at this. Mustangs. Beautiful Mustangs. I don't see any amps here. I'm just seeing guitars, but I didn't dig that deep. But anyway, so that's your gear news about Long & McQuade and their Fender sale. Now, we're also going to look at a few other Long & McQuade pages up here. I want to tell you there are 2 special edition 15-watt tube amps out there today. We've got the Vox AC15 in blue cream with a greenback in it, and we've got the Fender Blues Junior 4 30th anniversary. So what a year, what a month. Can you imagine? Vox, limited edition, 12-inch speaker, 15-watt tube. Now, I do have the Long & McQuade page open. That doesn't mean that your local store doesn't have this. Excuse me, $12.99, or $12.19, I'm sorry. So it's $200 more than I think that the AC15s are in store. Look at the top, the cream here. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not sure if there's anything else special about it. Everything else seems to be about right. 48.5 pounds, 15 watts, as you know, 16 ohms. The Vox AC15 is the amp that started it all, boasting both a normal and top boost channel. The AC15 is an all-tube EL84-driven workhorse that delivers 15 watts of authentic British tone into your choice of genuine Celestion Greenback or El Nico Blue speaker. you would think they would have put the Alnico blue in this, being the Tolex's blue, but so I just retubed my AC15 and it's sounding better than ever. I fixed the squeal. When I turned it on, it had made this weird glass chirp. It's not doing that anymore. So yeah, a new round of 5 tubes, 2 power tubes, and 3 preamp tubes did all the world of good for me, for my AC15. But if I didn't have one of them, man, this would be tempting. And then so, also in the special edition, we have the Fender Blues Junior 30th anniversary. And that is because the... yeah, it's 30 years old now, and we're on version 4. So what's different about it? It is in this dark Tolex, which is very beautiful. Look at it. Look how awesome it is. Now, it is beefed up price, too. Almost 15, so it's $14.39. And I can't... they sell about the same as an AC15 in stores right now. There's like $1,039. So this one's like $400 more. Let's just see here. For over 30 years, Fender Blues Junior have been the go-to amplifiers on stages around the world by players of all styles of music. The Blues Junior 30th Anniversary Amplifier celebrates the legacy of the iconic workhorse with a limited edition version of this 15-watt favorite. It has modified preamp circuitry for an increased fullness, spring reverb modified for smoothness. It has a Celestion creamback speaker, commemorative black western covering with vintage Bassman grill cloth. Oh, that's right, too. Look at the grill cloth. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so then we've got the chrome control panels with black chicken head knobs and a leather handle. So, yeah, absolutely beautiful. Where do they got them in stock at? Probably nowhere. Available order. Oh, they're not shipping out till May 27th, so we're jumping the gun on that. Also on Long and McQuade's page, these Marshall pedals are starting to come out. Here's the 1959 distortion pedal. So this isn't a full modeler. This isn't like to be compared with the Lion or... who else makes one? Boss makes some emulation pedals. The Tonemaster Pro by Fender. This is not a full emulation pedal because you don't get a cab sim or anything like that on it. It really is, you stick this in front of the amp you already have and try to get a Marshall type sound out of it. Inspired by the 1959 amp, it's still adored by guitarists including Jimi Hendrix and Jay Mascis. I'm going to put an asterisk on the Jay Mascis. He's not going to use this in the studio. He uses his Marshalls in live situations. He's said a few times that in studio, he plays a Fender Princeton and or, believe it or not, a Vox AC15. You can, on YouTube, find footage of Jay Mascis recording with the boys in studio, and it's a little Princeton he has with an SM57 on it. So when they say adored by guitarists, including Jimi Hendrix and Jay Mascis, yeah, that's live. That's when you see Jay Mascis with the stacks, 4 or 5 Marshall stacks behind him. What else we got here? Tone control, specifications. Yeah, I don't know. It's not for me, honestly. It's if I'm gonna, especially, how much does that cost? $249. Like. You could have a Tone X1 pedal for that, and then have 34,000 amps. I'm not trying to slag it. It's just, it's not for me just to have a 1959 distortion boost in a pedal. I'm going to go full emulation pedal, but, maybe that's a more personal opinion than I should be spouting off in a gear news segment. So in other gear news, we have breaking news. David Bailey's an idiot. All right, moving right along. Okay, so the Behringer has put out the B-Tron 3 envelope filter. So this is based on the Mutron 3. I know a band that had a Mutron 3, so I've heard a Mutron play live. I don't know, 100 times. This band I used to follow around, and they had one, and they had it set to full out, full wet, full obnoxious, and it was awesome. So for Behringer to recreate this, they just keep knocking it out of the park. Let's have a listen.
Introducing Behringer B-Tron 3 envelope filter. The story of this pedal is that of relentless innovation in the face of constant hurdles. The company behind this legendary funky filter started life in the hopes of being the next big thing in synthesizers.
Gonna fast forward a bit. They're not doing it justice. You want to do that thing justice, well, maybe he will here. There you go.
As you can hear, it's really responsive to what you're playing. You have to play into the pedal in a dynamic way to properly bring its sound to life. It's a very enjoyable experience and almost guarantees the stank face.
I'm not even playing and I'm doing stank face.
Now let's turn it down for a more subtle sound.
Now I'm doing subtle stank face.
Now let's switch to the up position. I stumbled across a suggestion in the original manual that said to try the pedal with an octave divider, and as you may or may not be aware, we did one of those. So I just had to...
That is awesome. All right, well, that's been today's Gear News, February 15th, 2025. Just to recap, Fender Standard guitars. I want to play one. I've not seen one yet. People are not liking it in the reviews. Get 20% off Fender over at Long & McQuade. The Vox Limited Edition Greenback Blue Cream is out. The Fender Junior 4 30th anniversary is out there in the wild to be had. I want one. The Marshall 1950 distortion pedal and the other Marshall pedals just like it are starting to flow. And David Bailey is an idiot. And Behringer B-Tron 3 envelope filter. Well, that's it. That's all the gear news for this week. Well, that's not true. I'll probably make another video today. But anyway, like and subscribe if you want to. Thanks, everybody.